right, Lucas here, going to talk about Liv from California Dreamin'. We're going to work a classic interpretation of a graduated shape. Give it a little modern twist when we get to the top. So we're going to start in the center back using a diagonal forward section, cutting a graduated cutting line.
What I do love about what you're doing here is that you actually are being really strict about not cutting past your second knuckle, especially in this nape area where everything's so sensitive, especially the tension.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. The skin starts to move around the hairline, so you've got to be really, really mindful of how much tension you apply to those sections as you cut them. And as you can see, we're moving to the other side, still working that diagonal forward section, being really mindful of sectioning. I'm under the impression that if you can see the scalp on your section line, that'll help you work really clean. You'll be able to see elevation and over direction through the entire haircut. So working that diagonal forward section, I comb the hair from underneath first, from above before I cut, and cut to that second knuckle. Like you mentioned, Clinton, I think it's so important to be consistent through the entire process.
Even I think on this section, working right behind the ear there and looking and making sure that your guide still underneath is really strong before moving on to the next section.
And I know Clinton and I both kind of have the same perspective. We like to try and work through haircuts with a minimal amount of clips. It just helps us work really clean through the entire process. Also, taking sections up and down with clips can occupy time, but if you can work through a haircut with a minimal amount of clips, it just forces you to work really clean, keep your sections clean, and keep the hair nice and groomed. Still working diagonal forward. Now I'm introducing a little bit of over direction, pulling the hair back. That's going to help me maintain length and density towards the front.
I do like the little bit of a bounce that you do when you take each of those sections, just to make sure that you can see the scalp, look at the root, make sure you have the right elevation over direction, because one of the things I've really learned from you is that looking at the root and focusing on that area will tell you everything.
So we've finished that left side of the haircut. There you see that little bounce again. Working through the right side now. Be mindful of the elevation, the tension. Also, making an adjustment on how I hold my scissor allows me to kind of ergonomically work through the haircut a little bit more efficiently. And now on this side I've switched to a stationary guide, so you'll see a lot of this hair come back to that point, to the corner of the hairline behind the ear.
I really love that view there, as you see, when you take down those sections right here and you kind of pull that back, you really start to see all the over direction that's introduced to really preserve all that length in the front, right?
Yeah, we made the decision to work a little bit asymmetrical with Liv because of her existing haircut history. She had some stuff that was cut shorter and maybe layered a little bit lighter in the front, so we made the decision to pull that hair back. Moving into the top here, still grooming really clean. We're going to work through that triangular zone in the top, elevate the hair straight up.
And so really here what's controlling your shape is just your cutting line, right?
Yeah, cutting line's helping me make that decision. I made a choice to choose my cutting line accordingly to help preserve length and weight towards the front. Also, using that stationary guide on the top just allowed me to keep some weight to one side. And now you've gotten to the fringe. The fringe is one of the best parts of the haircut. You really start to see that come to life. And we cut it flat on the skin with zero elevation, just to make sure it was nice and crisp and quite heavy on the edge. What transformation. I think Liv's before and after is quite a beautiful change.